guys, welcome to my channel. This is my new channel. It's called Nita Hands Made. Right here, I'm going to be making some vanilla foaming bath bombs. Right here, you can see that I'm adding the rest of the little citric acid that I do have left in the bag here. I'm adding it to the baking soda, which is already in the pan. And you could just ignore those pans back there in the back because my plan was to put the baking soda and that right there is the cornstarch, put those all in its separate bowl. But I decided to go ahead and put it all in one bowl, kind of save myself extra work. But you can do it either way you like. And right here I'm adding some epsom salt, you know, that helps with the soaking and muscle aches and things like that with your body. This is the SLSA. I'm adding a little here as well. This is going to help with the foaming once it gets in the water. Now I'm moving everything to the side here, and I'm going to measure my water. You only just need a little water here, and if you stay tuned at the end, I am going to go over the full ingredients. And this is distilled water. You want to make sure that you use distilled water and not water from the faucet because you don't want any type of chemical reaction to that. And so you see I pour a little bit too much, so I wanted to pour the rest back into the jug here. And right here, I'm adding the polysorbate, and I'm measuring this here on the scale. This is kind of going to help everything kind of come together, absorb all together. Okay, and I'm just showing that and moving that out the way. And I made a little spill here, so I'm just wiping and cleaning everything up here. Okay, just doing a little excess. Now this here is my vanilla fragrance oil, and this smells really, really good. So I'm just adding enough, the amount that I use for the amount of bombs that I'm going to be making. But if you want to get the exact measure, you can go a little more, a little less. On the bottle, it does show you the maximum that you can use according to the supplier. And I'm getting everything cleaned up here. Okay. And now this is the vitamin E oil that I'm adding here. You know, this helps with soothing and everything is like that, making your skin moisturizing, as well as the jojoba oil. That also helps with the shine and things like that. Jojoba oil actually have many different benefits, but you can use any type of carrier oil that you choose here. So I'm adding that. And now I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of the oil into the bowl here and then start to mixing. Now normally I mix the oils together and then I go ahead and add the water once that's mixed in, because once you add that water, it's going to start foaming. And if you don't add that right, so I try to save that for the last thing to do so it won't mess up the batch. But you can do that either way you like. That's just my preference. Okay, so here I'm just mixing and making sure everything is smooth together. Also want to, just give it a little mush just to make sure there's no lumps or bumps or anything like that. So just make sure everything is smooth. And you want to make sure that you got a little stick when you squeeze it to make sure that it's going to foam into a nice ball here for you. Sometimes now when you let it sit too long, or if it's not enough water, if it gets too dry, you also can just do a little spritz of water or a little alcohol or either witch hazel. Add that to your batch, just a little few spritz, not too much, and that'll help that moisturizer if it happens to sit too long or start to dry up. during the process of you making it. So I'll move that to the side here and go ahead and gather. Now, now I use this. Now you guys can use anything, but I'm trying to preserve money here. So I will use those eggshells, not the eggshells, but the egg heart, and I use that to put my bath bombs on and let it dry and harden overnight. Now you can use anything you want to hold it, but that's best for me. It's costly, of course, and I just try to utilize things that I already have that's beneficial. Now, once you get it into the mold, you want to make sure you tap it on both sides, and that way it can smoothly come out of the mold. You want to feel both sides of the mold, and then you want to squish it together. Give it a little twist and wipe off around the circle of the mold, around the rims. Get that off, give it a little hack there, and then pull that out, and then sit it to the side. Just sit it there on the egg cart and just let it dry. And you don't have to wait for it to dry overnight. You can give it about an hour and use it the same day. It's just my preference to leave it overnight so it can get harder. Now, as you notice, I didn't put any mica coloring to mine because this is a vanilla scent and I kind of wanted it to be pure white. But for mine, this is my personal batch. And for mine, I don't really use a lot of coloring anyway when I make mine. I just like them plain like that. But, when I do make them and give to others, and if the color that they choose, you can always just add about a teaspoon of mica to that color, to your batch, if you want color to that. So again, I'm just filling the molds, and then I'm going to put that together, give it a little twist and a little hit, and then make that bomb. Now this batch here, for this recipe that I am going to give you guys, once we're done with this video towards the ending, it's going to make about 4 to 5 bombs. Now this batch, the recipe is going to be for about 4 to 5 bombs. Okay, and I'm sitting it there. And there I go, I'm giving it a little mix as well, just to make sure everything is still all mixed together. Because sometimes one side can be a little damp, the other can be dry. So just make sure you can just use your hand, get around to the bottom of that, make sure you get it all mixed in there together. Okay, so as you see, that's 4 there. Now this is the last one that I was making. I wasn't quite able to get 5 out of this one. I don't know what it is, but sometimes I can get 5, sometimes I can get 4. But this here, I was actually only able to, didn't want to waste that, so I just made a half. So I just made a half of that, tapped it out, and sat it to the side there. Then I decided, hey, I should put that back into that mold and just leave it because it was a half and I didn't want it to break. So just leave it there. And as you can see, I'm just adding water so you can see how that foams, how much foam. That gets a lot of foam, especially once it's in the tub. Once it is in the tub, you can see that little sizzle, get a little more spin as well when you have this shape formed as a ball. But you can't see much here but the foaming because it's not shaped into the circle inside of the mold. Okay, guys, so that is the end of the video. I hope you guys liked it. Would you comment below if you want to see any other videos and subscribe to my channel? Thank you. You guys have a great day.